and welcome to the Aware Show. I am Lisa Garr, and it's such an honor for me to be here today because this show has always been about a massive service to our community. And the Aware Show has always been here when massive events have happened, good and challenging. And so joining me today are people that have been just devastated by these fires and have lost everything and are here to talk about what it's all about, what the experience is about, but really we're looking at this from a place of healing. Ellie Rose is joining me. Her family owns an incredible holistic veterinary clinic, and they have been there for so many people, especially when the veterinary industry went upside down after COVID and you couldn't get an appointment and all of that. They went to just, helping people, and they lost everything during the fires, and they're living in the vet clinic, which is amazing in West LA. And Ellie, thank you so much for joining me. I know you're in like a treatment room, right?
Yeah, I had to sneak away into one of the treatment rooms because it was, we're, still operating. So
Yeah.
uh, who knows how long until they kick me out of this room, but I
Oh
could always
no.
move to another room if I need to.
Well, I mean, animals
You
need
know,
as much help as humans, but let's just start with you.
yes.
Were at home in the Palisades at the time. How did all of this happen? Did you have any time? Were you warned?
Well, so the morning it happened, I literally was just about to wake up to get ready for my day, but maybe 5 seconds before I was about to, my alarm clock was going to go off, my mom comes bursting into my room being like, Ellie, look out your back window, look out your window. And as I'm looking out my window, I see, smoke and fire like up way up in the hills where usually the highlands area would be. And then of course we started hearing more ruckus of like the helicopters or planes flying over to go there. But I was just like, whoa, oh my gosh, we have another fire up in the highlands. Like, I just figured it was just another one that we had several years ago, and they were able to put that one out. But I didn't think much of it, but it was, it was a huge fire, obviously, and I could see it. And we also were remodeling my parents' bathroom at the time as well. So the construction people were like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. But, we
We
just,
become kind of fire immune because we look at the
yeah,
plumes in the distance and we think, oh, it's not going to come this
yeah.
way.
And
There's
we
no
even
way.
told them before, we're like, oh, we're fine. It shouldn't reach us. They've done it before. It's gone out. So, we were monitoring it, but we just went on with, kind of figuring out what's going on. And then all of a sudden, our TV reception kind of went out. So we were watching the news alongside, but our TV, it stopped working. And then at the same time, our Wi-Fi stopped working. We still had power at this time, but we had also very little service because the area of the Palisades that we were living in was like across from a canyon. So we had very little service without Wi-Fi. So it's
Mhm.
very hard to receive any text, very hard to put out text, any way of communication is very hard. So our only way of getting news was through the TV, basically. And
Right.
whatever emergency text we got, it was the mass one. But at the same time, we're watching the fires, and it was still pretty far away before, you know, we ever thought, we had to leave. But then all of a sudden, I want to say maybe an hour and a half later, the fire jumped to the left side of like the hill. So instead of being up in the highlands, all of a sudden it looked like it just started somewhere else that was a little bit more closer to where we were. And we were like, whoa, how did that happen? But it was
Mhm.
still a little bit of a distance, even though it was creeping close. Like it was close, but still, again, in our heads, we were thinking, it's never reached our house. It's always, far away. And even the winds, they were a little bit windy, but it wasn't as bad as, we thought it would be at the time for the fires to be jumping like that. It still
So you didn't
had
think
it. Yeah.
grab documents or grab anything, animals? I mean, of course.
Yeah, I mean, we were starting to think like, okay, if we need to evacuate, like these are our, we were making a list, a mental list in our heads of like what we should grab, and like, obviously our animals are the first. We, those are
Right,
like,
of
okay,
course.
we're gonna get the dogs first in the car once we need to, and then obviously whatever else we can grab, and just grab whatever we can when the time comes. But again, we weren't so concerned. We were still, just watching it. But then, we wanted to see what our other neighbors and whoever else, if they were evacuating yet. So my mom and we ended up walking down our street into the middle of, it's kind of like a fork in the road where either it goes into a circle and then our street's a dead end street. So we basically just went into the middle to see what all the other neighbors were doing.
Right. Yeah, of
Um,
course.
but we didn't see any uh, firefighters, police, nobody. But as we were walking to the end of our street, all of a sudden we see a new fire popping up on the right side of our house, like further down, kind of near the Marquez Elementary School area, as if it was that way,
Hmm.
instead of being from the highlands and then towards I think
The
it's,
ocean, right?
yeah, it
Hmm.
was starting to go that way. So not only was it the back of the house, it was the left of the house, and then it was the right of the house. And
Oh,
like it was again, it was still close but not too close, but we were like, okay, this, if we need to start leaving and we can't take the roads, we're going to probably go to a view site that's around the corner from our house, and we'll just have to hike down there with our dogs and try to head towards the ocean. So I figured, as we're going to do that, I told my mom, okay, we should start gathering things by the door, and let's see, let's start slowly I mean, not slowly, but let's start
yeah.
gathering our things, but because we still thought we had time. But in the meantime, my mom was like talking to our neighbors to see what was going on. But I told myself, let me just see the little route that we might potentially take to evacuate. Let me see what's going on around there. And just as I'm walking down my street, I'm looking at the view site from probably, I want to say, 300 feet away from it. And I see these orange glow, and
Oh,
I'm
wow.
like, oh no, is that a cone, like an orange cone? Because I've never seen that there. Like, what is that? And as I'm walking towards it, I realize it's fire. And usually right there you could see PCH, the ocean, and then
Right.
usually on a clear day you could see the Santa Monica Pier from where that view spot is. But as soon as I went there, I could see that the whole canyon across from where I was at, minus the little fire on our side of the street, or down the street from us, that had jumped on our side of the canyon, I saw that it was all engulfed. And I was like, oh no, we got to go now. There's not enough time to start, thinking of things to put by the door. Now we got to start putting our dogs in the car
Hmm.
now. So I ran as quickly as I could back to my house. I was out of breath, and I was like, Mom, we have to go now. Like, the fire is so much closer than, from where we could see. Like, it's literally like down our, like, it's so close to our house. We got to go now. And immediately, just as we were evacuating, all of a sudden the power went out. And at the time,
Ah.
I had told my mom, like, oh, can you open the garage? Let me empty out the back of my car, because I had like a beach umbrella that was,
Mm.
I would go to the beach with my friend and I didn't need it. I didn't, I'm like, I don't need that.
Yeah.
I need to make more space. So as soon as my mom opened the garage and I was about to go back into the house, I noticed all the lights were off, and I thought my mom had shut off all the lights because she was going to leave. And I was like, Mom, why'd you shut off all the lights? And she's like, Ellie, I didn't shut them off. The power is out. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh no, like, this is not good. So, and the sun at this point, it was probably around like 4:30. So it's about to get dark around this time when we're getting ready to evacuate and get our dogs in the car. And, we basically had no time to really do anything. And
What did you grab? I mean, you grabbed your
oh
animal,
God.
which was, four dogs.
Yep, we have four dogs. We have two box turtles. We have one cat. I have two geckos. So the geckos, they slept in my room. I had, two cages for them, a male and a female. And then my mom, we in our living room, we had the two turtles that I've had since I was a kid. And then
Wow.
our cat too, she's pretty old as well. She's like 17 years old or something. But
Wow.
yeah, we had the four dogs, and obviously our dogs are afraid of the smell and the commotion. So I had to help my mom lift our dogs into the car, that the ones that couldn't jump up. And then
Mm-hmm.
our cat, she was also scared of the noises. So she hid, like while we were having construction being done, we would put her in my brother's old room, and he's
Mm-hmm.
in vet school right now. So he's out of state. So we
Oh,
would let her stay in his room, but she got scared of all the commotion and hid under the bed, and she wouldn't come out. And my mom
so hard.
opened, yeah, it was very hard. She opened up three cans of cat food, and it got to the point where my mom was about to be like, Ellie, you got to crawl under the bed because I can't do this. Like, I got to start getting the dogs to the clinic. Like, you're going to have
Yeah.
to get the cat. But thankfully, like at the last second, my cat had crawled out. We scooped her up and put her in the
Great.
cat carrier, and we got her in the car.
Oh,
So my mom, she had the turtles, the dogs, the cat, and my only thing was just my geckos that I had to grab. But my mom, she left.
what about clothes? What about anything else?
So I didn't know what stuff my mom was grabbing other than the animals, but for me, I just like, I didn't have much time to think. So I just was trying to, my first thought was grab my medicine because I have a
Hmm.
chronic pain disease. And so a lot of my medications are very hard to get. And I was like, okay, that's the first thing I need to grab. When it came to clothes, I couldn't even think like,
Yeah.
specifically. I had boxes, and I just started throwing things in the boxes, and I was trying to be a little bit organized, but then again, at some
Yeah.
point you can't, because the fire, you don't know if the fires are creeping up closer to my side of the hill, because I could see it, you know moving
Hmm.
really fast across the way, and I'm thinking, gosh, the winds are blowing, the embers are going to reach our house or the hillside. Like, I don't want to be here when it does that. So I couldn't
Yes.
even think. I just grabbed whatever I could, threw it in the back of my car, and I couldn't even be organized. Like, I don't even
Right.
know half the things I grabbed. Like, I know there were certain things that, like, I like, now thinking back, I'm like, did I put it in my car, or did I grab it and then I must have left it behind?
Mm.
I still haven't been able to look through my
I mean,
car to see everything, because I'm still so in shock, and it's
uh,
very overwhelming just dealing day by day. And it's just been a lot.
everything completely changed in just a matter of minutes. And you at least
Mm-hmm.
had just put some, at least you got your animals and at least you got a few things in a box.
Yeah.
Some other friends of ours and their neighbors just thought, oh, they're just going to go, to a hotel and make it kind of a fun vacation with
Mm-hmm.
the, father daughter type of thing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm sure you've heard stories like that, right?
Oh, definitely. And, even just like our own story, we thought we would be home the next day, or, if worst comes to worst, maybe like a little bit of our house might be, a little burnt, but, we never thought it would reach us, because it has never reached us. I've lived there my whole life, and not once has there ever been a fire remotely close to our canyon. We've had close calls in the past, but again, they've
Were there
always
a lot
been.
of structures between you and the fire? Because that's what most
Oh
people
yeah.
think. Oh, they'd have to
Yes.
burn through all these structures first. And it did.
Yes. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I even like, looking back now, like, I'm just like, how did it reach me? Because I mean, the only way I thought originally was like, okay, maybe it hit the canyon and then it got to my house. But um, we had
Wow.
some family friends kind of sneak into our neighborhood to take some pictures of our home. And as we're looking
Oh,
at the photos, we realized that the fire must have came from behind our house instead of from the canyon side, because there's certain things that are left not really as burnt, but then again our whole house is gone, and we're like, how did this not get burnt? Why is this still standing but our house is gone? It makes no sense. Like, I mean, just as I was saying, how we
The
had
absolutely
construction people,
erratic,
like
right, the
we had,
erratic winds. I mean, the winds
yeah.
were so erratic and so strong. I mean, we've never had that 100-mile-an-hour
Mm-hmm.
wind before, and it took, it doesn't make sense. A lot of it doesn't make sense.
No.
And it felt, I mean, there's so many theories going around right now, but I want to just ask you, what do you need? I mean, what do you and your family need? You're able to stay at the clinic. Thank God you had that, but sleeping in a treatment room for animals is cold.
Yeah, I mean, we've been sleeping obviously out of our office. It's been, I mean, I say sleeping lightly because we haven't really been able to sleep. It's been very hard to sleep.
Mm.
And even once you do sleep, it's time to wake up and operate and open the doors. Our employees get here to start working. So
Mm.
since the fire started, I haven't had one day to sleep in since all of this has happened. And, right now, we're just still figuring things out. And my uncle actually recently was able to find us a place to stay temporarily until
Oh,
we
good.
can, maybe rebuild and figure out what's
Mm.
going on. But I won't be able to stay there for maybe a while. I don't know when I'm able to actually sleep there yet because it's going to be a while. But right now, I think
Yeah.
what we need is um, when we're ready. We need to get some supplies for wherever we're staying, and even just for myself. Like, I only grabbed. I mean, the only thing I had was the shoes on my feet. I don't have
Oh,
any other pairs of shoes
right.
besides, I've had people try to donate some shoes for me, but they
Yeah.
don't fit. And, at some point I need to go and, eventually I'll get some
Right.
shoes that fit me right and that,
Well, do you guys have any type of GoFundMe or anything set up? I've donated to a few other friends' GoFundMes because,
yeah.
so many people have lost everything. What can we do?
So right now, two things. One, you could either call our clinic and you could tell them that you would like to help out and donate some things, and our receptionist, they can help guide you with however much you want to donate. And
And
then
it's
also,
it's Dr. Pasternak Veterinary Clinic. Is that what it's called?
we're called Pasternak Veterinary Center.
And it's
So
Pasternak.
no,
N
it's
A
Pasternak.
N A K. All right.
Yeah. And
Veterinary
then
Center.
veterinary center. And then my father's name is Dr. Henry Pasternak.
Yes.
Um, my name is Ellie Rose
Yeah.
Pasternak, and my mother's name is Glory Pasternak.
Mm, you
So you
are.
can, yeah, either do that or either my Venmo as well. We're either doing either or.
Okay.
So my Venmo is my first and middle name. And I used to play the ukulele. I still do, but now it's lost in the fire, unfortunately.
Um,
All my instruments are, but my first and middle name with Uke at the end. So Ellie Rose Uke,
mm,
my Venmo.
thank
So
you.
yeah.
I've heard also that the GoFundMe's are being looked at by the insurance companies.
Yeah, I haven't even, thought about like what to do with a GoFundMe yet. And I think we're just mostly just wanting to just, we need mostly clothes and certain things and just
Mm.
certain necessities more than, I mean, when it comes to money things, it's like, it's kind of hard to think, especially right now. Like my
I
mind
know.
is so jumbled. Like people will ask me, like, "What do you need? What is this? Like what do you want?" And I'm like, "Gosh, like I can't even wrap my mind around what I need right now. I'm trying to think
It's
like,
no, that's very normal, by the way. And that's one of the number one things not to do when someone is grieving is ask them what they need because it puts another burden on them. And that is
I
the best
know,
thing to do is simply offer this or drop off this or, be
yes,
of service, but don't ask because you don't know right now what you
yes,
need everything.
oh yeah,
and mostly
definitely.
emotional support. And you have, are still being in service to people and their animals, and the animals
Hmm.
are coming in that are still sick. And have any been injured from these fires?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of animals who, their families have been displaced. So we've had families, even people that I knew, they had to get some food for their animals, and, they lost their homes, and I've known them for so long. And
Mhm.
it's like, wow, you too, you lost your home. Oh my God, I can't believe it. And then, they come to our clinic and they're just as amazed that we lost our home as well. And it's not like these people lived next door to me. They lived far away in the other opposite side of the Palisades from me. And it was like, how did it, like it's our whole entire city is gone, our village, our community that we once knew. It's all gone. And it's just, it's crazy how
It
it's
is
life is
overwhelming. It is
very,
overwhelming. Well, I've
very.
seen so much support come out. I just want to make sure it goes in the right place. You can definitely check. You can call the clinic 310-268-2275, the
Hmm.
Pasternak Vet Center, 310-268-2275, and you can ask them, just how you could support. And I know that there's maybe just offer support. Maybe that's
Yeah.
the best way to do. Just offer support
Yes.
and say, I
Yeah.
have shoes, or I have this, or I have dog food for, the people that come in that have lost everything, and cat food, and
Yep.
maybe bowls or beds or whatever you can donate to this vet center, and they'll distribute to their clients, because they're coming in and to, let the client database know that you've got people. And I'm grateful that you
Yep.
had at least the clinic to go to in the meantime, but finding something else is going to be really important for you to get some stability and some level of normalcy back
Oh
in your
yeah.
life. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, once we're able to, like, we're gonna need all new cookware, because all of our pots and pans are gone. Everything that you can think of that a place to have a stable home you can think of is
Yeah.
all gone. Because, we didn't think to grab this and that. We're like, okay, grab what we think we need. And obviously we didn't know we would
Right.
lose our home. We didn't know how
No.
long we'd be gone for. And,
Yeah.
so we don't even know
Everything.
if there's any things still left, and we haven't been able to go back yet to our home. So, and I'm hoping we'd be able to go back soon to sift
Yes.
through the rubble and whatever's left. But even that, we need to get supplies for that too, just to make sure that we're safe and that
Get
we
food
have
boots,
proper,
get
yeah,
boots and masks, and yeah, and see what you
exactly.
can bring back. And yeah, it's a
Yeah.
journey. It's going to be definitely a journey. There is so much support for you. I think this has changed our city forever. And
Hmm.
I know that it's going to be, things need to change, like insurance.
Oh,
Look,
yeah.
medical insurance needs to change, home insurance needs to change. It all needs
Hmm.
to change, and it's all happening, unfortunately, because of these devastating ways. But we need more
Yeah.
support from big commissions like the insurance commission, and to recognize these changes and not just treat it like it's a one-off, because
Yeah.
anywhere you look in California can go up in flames at any second. It's just the next
Yeah.
windstorm. So,
Oh, of course.
yeah.
And that's another thing too, is like the fact that we didn't even have, like, I didn't see the whole entire day not a single firefighter, not a single policeman, the whole time these fires were happening. And even when the fire reached down my street, when a new hot spot started, I
Oh,
called 911 just to report that, hey, between this street and this street, there's a brand new fire starting. And the operator was so like condescending on the phone. And I was like, I understand you got like 50 million fires starting all at once. All I'm doing is just reporting, hey, this new area just started all day. There hasn't been anyone. I don't know. There's only so many places you could evacuate from the Palisades, and it's like, which route do we go? And the person
right,
was like,
right.
I don't know, just start driving and figure it out yourself kind of attitude. And it was just like, what? Like,
Right.
is this
Wow.
happening? And I,
We
you know,
were
so
not equipped. Yeah.
no,
There's no, there,
no
yeah.
warning, no nothing. No one knew what was going on. And the only time I actually saw firefighters was when I was actually leaving my whole neighborhood and leaving the Palisades to evacuate. I only saw them at the top of Temescal, you know, right by the high school. And then I didn't know if I was allowed to go down to Temescal because they weren't
Yeah.
guiding me. No one
So
was
many
telling me where to
people just
go.
abandoned their cars. The fire
Yeah.
was coming, they were in traffic and they had to get out of their cars and leave.
Yeah, and that's what I heard. So I just kept going straight through Sunset, through the village, because no
Hmm.
one was telling me to turn around or do this or that. And then of course
Yeah.
I saw more,
Smoke.
the
Mm.
firefighters there too. But it wasn't until I hit Chautauqua, I made a right down Chautauqua to get to PCH.
Mm.
That's when the fires stopped, maybe one or two houses down that street. And
Oh
I
my
I
gosh.
was literally like, I cannot believe I just witnessed all this. Like, the fires stopped. Like, this is insane. And now,
Yeah.
obviously, all those homes are
Right.
gone. But
Right. All the way
I'm
to
like,
all the way to the water, which
mm-hmm,
is unheard of. And
yeah,
there's no, that's yeah, there's the likelihood of fire burning to the ocean was very unlikely, and it's happened twice now.
yeah,
So it's going to be a long road to recovery, and just understand that you just got to keep breathing one step at a time. And I am just so grateful to be able to put your information out here, and for you taking a minute to talk about this hopefully helps a little bit, but also knowing
yeah.
that people could call and support you would be even better. It's the Pasternak Vet Center. Thank you for continuing to
Mhm.
support our animals during all of this. Um,
Thank you.
I know your dad and mom are just, they're saints, just amazing people. They have
Yeah,
done so much for so many people. They're the real deal. So thank you.
thank you so much.
All
Yeah,
right.
I know. We're all, like I said, we're all still in shock, but we're still trying to find some sort of normalcy. And we're so lucky that we have our animals with us. And,
Yeah.
even though they're so innocent, they obviously know something's a little off, but I'm glad that I'm able to have my fur babies here along with my
Yeah.
parents. And, things are going to be better than ever. And this is for a reason. I was just telling my dad last night that, this thing, look on the bright side. You've always wanted to do certain things with the house, and now we can start all over. And, so even
Yeah,
though it's
it's
not
going to be
ideal, but it's,
the best thing to realize is that that absolutely minute by minute there's going to be grief, there's going to be breakdowns, there's going to be it's possibilities, it's all part of it, and just to keep moving forward. Stay with your loved ones, know that you're loved, know that you're supported, know that you're not alone,
of
and
course.
look for the silver linings everywhere you can. New
Thank
beginnings,
you.
new beginnings.
Yes.
You're
Yes.
amazing, Ellie Rose. Thank you so much. And again, anyone that could support the Pasternak Vet Center, we really appreciate you and everything that you're doing. All
Yeah.
right.
Thank you so much. I appreciate
Absolutely.
you. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. We will talk soon. And this is Lisa Garr. You're listening to The Aware Show. We'll be right back.